Welcome back to Overhead Athletics. I'm Max Wardell. I'm joined today by Luke. He's actually coming back. You want to show him the scar? Little scar, avulsion, got an open reduction, internal fixation there. And we're working on throwing mechanics. And whenever we have these guys coming back from surgery especially, but often from injury, especially around the elbow, we see that they protect their elbow at the end of the throw. So they don't let their elbow get into extension, and they have this very pushy arm action. What Luke and I have talked about is generally when we're coming off of surgery, we're coming off of injury, you're dealing with really two predominant things. One is the faults or the inefficiencies that you had prior to the injury that contributed to or led to your injury. And then secondarily, you have some compensatory movements that occur as a result of the surgery, and those are the things you're trying to work on so you don't form any bad habits. And we have a little progression here that we work on with guys that are post-operative, post-injury, or guys that are just, hey, I have a little bit too much of a pushy arm action, I'm losing speed, maybe I'm plateaued out. We did another video where we talked about increasing velocity and preserving arm health, where we actually worked with an athlete who we'd worked with in the past, and he was kind of pushing the ball a little bit too much and coming forward with the elbow a little bit too much. But with Luke, you can see this video on the screen here where he's actually taking the ball from too far behind him and pushing it out in front, and then he doesn't ever access elbow extension. He's maybe in 90, 100 degrees of flexion at the point where, you know, the ball's starting to come off the fingers, and then he releases the ball, propulsion happens before he even gets near extension. So extension of the elbow should occur in the throw. You should be 10 degrees shy of terminal extension or 10 degrees shy of zero approximately when you release the ball. Some guys are maybe a little bit less than that. You know, some guys are maybe a little bit more than that. But generally, the closer you get to extension, the better, the more you're going to maximize and summate speed in your throw. So with Luke, you saw kind of what he did there. Now we're going to work on, show you guys this little progression that we utilize to improve this at times. So the first one here is a skipping throw, a rock skip. So like he was trying to skip a stone. What was interesting is I asked Luke, can you skip rocks on the water? He says, no, I've never been able to. Well, got a little bit too much of a pushy arm action. So it was interesting getting that. But what we're going to have him do is we're going to have him start in a flexed position where he's bent over, one leg stance, and he's got to be able to go through the throw and make a skipping stone. So he's got to skip that stone with the baseball about waist height into the net. And we've practiced a few of each of these already today, but these are all new to him today. So let's go ahead and see that one. So I have him go through a few reps and just let him work through the arm action a little bit. The other thing we do with these guys, a lot of times they're a little overprotective of their arm and they're throwing a little slow. Keep going. So we'll have them work on throwing at a little higher speed when they're able. He's able at this point, so we're starting to increase his speed just a little bit, even if that means less reps. So you can see that when he does this throw, he's actually able to get into more extension and follow a more natural arm path. This is the exact opposite type of progression or movement that I would use in somebody that drags their arm too much. So if you're somebody at home that drags your arm, or your son drags their arm in the throw, we wouldn't be doing this at all. We'd actually be doing some things that would be working in the opposite direction of this. Generally, guys are either a little too pushy or they drag their arm a little bit too much. So now we call this our quarterback throw. Getting that athletic stance. We're going to get his arm in a better position where he's a little bit out in front. And then from here, he's going to spread his feet just a little bit. He's going to bounce back and forth between his feet and make an athletic throw. Okay, let me see you bounce your weight back and forward a little bit. So while he's doing this, the reason that we actually position him higher and out in front of his body is because, like we talked about, it's not always just a protective thing. A lot of times guys get too pushy because they take their arm too far back. So we talked about, hey, if somebody were to grab you and try to pull you in, what would you do? You'd push away. The same way here. You kind of fight that pull. So his arm's getting pulled too far back because he takes the ball too far behind his body. He's going to resist that and shoot his elbow out in front. When you shoot your elbow forward with the big pectoralis major there, you're actually pushing the ball. So you lose out on some of that that elastic energy and some of that rotational energy in the throw. So because he's too pushy, because his arm's too far back, we just take him a little bit further out in front in this pre-positioning. So go ahead and give me one more there. And we'll work on variable speeds with this. So go ahead and give me like 50%. That's good. That's very good. Now we do the same throw, but he's got to start down here. That makes it much more difficult because now he has to actually get to the ball to the right height without bringing it too far back and then make the throw. And how many times have we worked together? 4 times? 4, probably 5 times. I'm not sure exactly. So he said a lot, but we've worked together maybe five times. Think? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, about 5 times. So he's worked on this over the course of 4 or 5 weeks here. So he's starting to get the hang of it, but he's still got to fine-tune things, make it a little more smooth, that sort of thing. But it's much, much better than where he was before. Okay, so now he's done his, we call those quarterback throws. Nice athletic quarterback throw. He's done his quarterback throws, and he's actually done his stone skipping throws. Now we're going to actually have him just go from here with the ball down. So the ball's out in front of him, not behind him. So now we should see the same thing that we saw in those other throws. It should be just as athletic. Wait a little longer to lift the ball. You know what I mean by that, Luke? Yeah. Just leave that ball there for half a second longer. I'm giving him very little cues with these drills. I'm letting him kind of find a more natural pathway here. Good. So I let these work over the period of time, and you guys can see, I'll put a slow-mo up on the screen right now so you guys can see what it looks like after. So after he's done a few of these drills, and you can think about and go back and watch what it was like before with where he was like here when he released the ball. So much better. These are all we've really done today over the last 20-25 minutes. So nice little progression for you. You can incorporate this stuff with the ladder drill that we showed in another video. If you haven't seen that one, you want to check out the one where we do ladder drill throwing and pivot throws where he actually does a jumping pivot. Those are things to also incorporate with this progression if you need some more things to work on. But to get rid of that pushy arm action, here's a few different techniques that you can utilize. But make sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up if you like Luke, and we'll see you guys in the next video.